There are moments when your skin crawls, but you can't quite explain why. A misplaced item. A door you swore you closed left open. The faint scent of cologne in a house where you live alone. For Emily Lawson, it was the feeling of always being watched that started it. A subtle itch at the back of her mind that wouldn't go away. She blamed the stress. New job, recent breakup, unfamiliar neighborhood. But what she didn't know was that her fear wasn't irrational. It was real, and living right behind her walls. For 92 long days, someone shared her home, ate her food, watched her sleep, recorded her every move. He was always there, silent, calculated, invisible, until the day the wall cracked and her entire world shattered. This is the story of the man who lived in her walls, and how the power of being unseen nearly destroyed her life. Emily had just moved into the charming bungalow in Silver Pine, a quiet neighborhood known for its tree-lined streets and warm smiles. The house was old but inviting, with creaky floors and original crown molding. A writer by trade, she found the solitude comforting. But within the first few weeks, little things felt off. Lights would be on when she returned from the store. Food went missing, a yogurt here, a slice of bread there. She laughed it off at first, blaming forgetfulness or her cat, Milo. But Milo couldn't unscrew peanut butter jars. At night, she often woke up to the sound of something shifting. She'd check every room, knife in hand, only to find silence and shadows. Still, she never called the police. She didn't want to sound paranoid. But paranoia wasn't the enemy. Complacency was. And behind those antique walls, something far worse than loneliness had taken root. 3 weeks in, Emily installed a cheap motion detector outside her back door. It lit up sporadically at 3 a.m., but when she checked the security footage, there was nothing, just static or empty space. Sometimes, it showed frames that skipped seconds entirely. She thought the device was faulty, but the truth was, someone was tampering with it. Inside the crawl space that connected the attic to the kitchen wall, a man named Travis Burke watched her through a vent. A former contractor, Travis knew how to navigate floorboards without a creak. He wasn't homeless. He wasn't even desperate. He was obsessed. Emily had passed him once in a bookstore, smiled politely, and that brief moment planted a dangerous seed in his mind. She seemed kind, alone. And now, inside her walls, he studied her life like a script, waiting for the perfect moment to enter the scene. Travis moved with military precision. He'd memorized her schedule, when she left for groceries, when she took showers, how long her nightly walks lasted. He used the vents to eavesdrop and the crawl space to travel between rooms. At night, he'd peek through holes behind hanging art or beneath floor grates. The basement became his sanctuary. He'd rigged it with stolen candles and food. Sometimes, he'd leave small items in strange places, a single sock in the kitchen drawer, a lipstick under her bed, just to watch her unravel. The fear in her eyes became his addiction. To Emily, it felt like the house was playing tricks. But Travis was no ghost. He was flesh, bone, and obsession. And his desire to remain unseen was not just strategic, it was intimate. Invisibility gave him control. And he believed control meant love. Emily's breaking point came on a Sunday morning. Her laptop, which she always left closed, was open, with a file on screen titled, "I See You Sleep." It contained dozens of pictures, blurry but unmistakably hers. Her sleeping, her brushing her teeth, her crying in the hallway. Shaking, she called the police. They arrived quickly, sweeping the house top to bottom. But nothing turned up. They chalked it up to a virus or prank. No signs of forced entry. No suspects. But Emily knew. Something, or someone, was watching her. She slept with the lights on. She stopped going out. She checked every closet twice. Her fear became a routine. and as she spiraled, Travis watched from inside the very walls that now imprisoned them both. He didn't feel guilt. He felt misunderstood. He believed she just needed more time to love him back. The moment of revelation came with a water leak. Emily called a plumber after noticing a dark stain spreading across her ceiling. When the drywall was cut open, they found a small compartment between the studs. Inside were clothes, food wrappers, a phone with no SIM card, and photographs of Emily taped to the beams. Police were called again. This time they brought dogs. Within hours, they uncovered a tunnel behind the fireplace, leading directly into the attic. Travis was gone, but his world remained behind. Journals, sketches of Emily's face, and a chilling manifesto titled, "When She Finally Sees Me." The truth hit her like a wave of ice. He had been with her every moment. Not just a ghost in the wiring. A man. A watcher. A predator with patience. And Emily's sanctuary had never truly belonged to her. In the days following the discovery, Emily refused to stay in the house. She moved in with her sister across town. Sleep became a stranger, and mirrors turned into enemies. Therapy offered little comfort, because it wasn't just the violation. It was the silence of it. The fact that someone had shared her breath, her space, her life, without ever being seen. Police canvassed the area, distributed Travis's sketch, and launched a manhunt. But he vanished without a trace. No fingerprints. No digital trail. He had erased himself long before they found his name. And yet, Emily could still feel him, like a phantom limb in a body he never belonged to. She stopped writing. Her stories felt hollow. What fiction could rival the nightmare of being unknowingly possessed? Months passed. Then one day, a package arrived, no return address. Inside was a book. Her book. The one she never published. The one Travis had read from her laptop while hiding in her home. It was annotated in red ink. Messages written in the margins like a conversation. You write about loneliness, but you never looked behind you. This chapter was my favorite. It reminded me of us. That word shattered her. There had never been an us. Only a delusion, crawling behind her drywall like a disease. Emily handed the book over to police, but again, no prints. No trail. Just haunting evidence that he was still out there. Watching. Waiting. Or worse, writing his own ending. And maybe, just maybe, she was still the main character. Emily eventually sold the house, though it took months longer than expected. Buyers were put off by the story. The online forums didn't help either. Threads filled with conspiracy theories, horror enthusiasts, and amateur detectives. Some even romanticized Travis. The wall lover, they called him. Emily hated that, because he wasn't a myth. He was real. And he stole more than her privacy. He stole her peace. Her safety. Her belief that home meant protection. She moved to a high-rise apartment. No crawl spaces. No basements. Steel and concrete between her and the past. But even there, with security cameras and concierge staff, she sometimes paused by the vent in her ceiling, staring just in case. Because once you've been haunted by the living, no place ever feels unoccupied again. Today, Emily advocates for victims of stalking and home invasions. She speaks at universities, helps draft security protocols, and runs a blog where she shares safety tips and survivor stories. Her trauma didn't vanish, but it gave her a mission. Her voice became louder than her fear. Still, some nights, the old walls whisper. A creak here, a thump there. Trauma leaves echoes after all. But now, she listens not with panic, but with purpose. She knows that silence can be dangerous. That sometimes the greatest danger isn't what breaks in through the front door, it's what waits behind the ones we never open. She no longer asks, "What if someone's watching?" Instead, she declares, "I'm watching back." Because in a world where unseen eyes roam freely, the greatest strength is refusing to be blind to the shadows. If this story shook something inside you, If you felt the chill of being watched, or remembered a time your intuition told you something wasn't right, don't ignore it. Stories like Emily's remind us that reality can be stranger and far more terrifying than fiction. But they also show us the power of awareness, of speaking out, of trusting your gut. If you found this story gripping, haunting, or eye-opening, please like this video. It helps more people discover stories that matter. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever felt watched? Or narrowly escaped a situation you didn't fully understand until later? Subscribe for more real-life tales that reveal the unseen threads of our world, where danger, redemption, and mystery often hide in plain sight. Hit the bell so you never miss a story. And remember, just because you can't see something doesn't mean it isn't there.